Welcome to More Than Just Study Abroad. I'm your host Halak, an international student currently studying in London. I bring forth to you this podcast to help you bridge the gap between the expectations you might have and the reality of what life as an international student really is like. Each episode, I sit down with other students who are also studying abroad to bring their stories, the real life experiences, straight to you. We're here to talk about all those moments you don't really read in the brochures. Everything from navigating cultural differences to managing daily life abroad. So let's dive straight into the conversation. Hello.
Hi.
Do you want to introduce yourself to the amazing audience we have? Or we
Yeah.
don't?
Hello. I am Samarpita. I am a postgraduate student at the A School of Architecture in London. I have moved here very recently, actually, September. And I don't know how my inputs will be very crucial to this podcast, but I think I have had my couple of experiences around the city and also work, I guess.
That is good enough. Every experience is valuable.
Yeah.
See? Okay. So, since you've just come to London in September and now you're studying an architecture,
Yeah.
do you want to start off talking about architecture first and say, because the university term just ended for you, right? The week 12
Yes.
just ended.
Yes.
So let's dive into the past 12 weeks of your university studying. How was it actually? What did you find different from India? Or what did you expect when you came over here that, oh, it's going to be like this, but some things were just surprising you?
Well, for the first thing I would say is it's a very different concept from what we used to have in India because we used to have semesters and the breaks were kind of different. How we got evaluated was very different. So let's just think about coming here with a clear slate completely because we don't know how we'll be kind of judged, how we'll be evaluated, what we'll be learning. Especially a completely new territory for anybody coming here, so it's very different from what we have learned in India. And when we come back to when we come here to London, it's very different. I feel like first we had a very jump start, because my college, they don't like really to call themselves like a university or a college. What they say is like we are associate, so they are like professional. And I think it's very well known. This institution is one of the oldest institution among architects, and it is where some of the very big legacies of architecture has come out, like Zaha Hadid and Ram Koolhaas. It's just big names in the industry from this, and you can tie back a lot from history. And I feel that really has an influence over the way the entire college and the entire school kind of constructs their courses and everything. It's very different from the get go when you go into the college, and the first lecture is like, you're not students here, you're professionals. And that really keeps you going in a different pedestal. It's not really how you think of, okay, I'm going to be learning something, I'm gonna have exams over it. It's not that. It's what you learn and how much you grasp and how much you can execute. And I feel the execution part is very different from what we have had in India, because it was so much more theory, so much more learning, but so less amount of execution until you reach to the level of like internship or something like that. But over here, the hands-on experience on everything is so much more lifelike. You are almost like thrown into the real world, take the real world examples and start working on them. So the learning to producing curve is much more better, I feel, over here. I For non-architecture people, I guess it would be a little harder to grasp, but then I think it's something that works on different fields, because I think you had a much more creative field as well before when we used to
We
talk.
also had like a similar thing. When we had design studio in first year, we were taught, but it wasn't like we were given lectures. We didn't have
Yeah.
lectures. We were given, this is the first project, that's what you're working on. I remember the first project was still like, what are we supposed to do again? Question mark. We
Yeah.
had like the first one was supposed to be presented after like 6 weeks, I guess. And after 6 weeks, I'm not even kidding, so many people in the first 4 weeks were still confused. What are we doing? How do we do it? Of course, the professors were still there to support you and say, don't worry, we just want you to show us what you want to do. It's not about we delivering something and throwing on you. It's about we understanding what you can bring right now or what you already know. And to like just not think about how there are boundaries, instead think about just creatively express. That's it. That's all we want to see. And yes, it was very challenging in terms because there was no brief, there was nothing as such given to us. We were just told, define a column. That's it. What is a column?
I like the term you said, like creatively think, which
Yeah.
is so much more understood over here. Like, I feel you have the liberty to actually do that and just not textually learn. Just it's not bound. You have the mind to like reach beyond a kind of a boundary that you're kind of set from your school. So you learn more, I guess. Try to like learn from a different kind of things around and things beyond that is taught. That's really nice and interesting. Another thing which is really interesting here is like the networking. I feel it's like the socially being present as a concept as a new Indian over here. I've heard about it. Like when I was coming here before, people were like, get going with the networking, like talk to people, talk around and be comfortable with everybody. These parties that our college also hosts are like you meet your professors, you meet their friends, you kind of get to know each other, and you slowly try to merge in that professionality into actual field of working rather than just being an educational center. So that is kind of interesting how these like the entire job market also works mostly.
Yeah. It's very much dependent on your network, and you really have to grow your network.
Yes, how many people you know. So it becomes you know what reminds, this is a very fascinating thing that I was trying to do is like, I was trying to have a book log, like in Devil Wears Prada. They have this log where they have the names and who they are. And right before the parties, you have to go through them. Okay, this person is this, and you do your homework before the parties.
I've done that too.
And this is such an interesting concept. When you watch these movies, you don't really understand until you come here and live it, and you're like, oh no, we got to do that because we got to know everybody who are there present, and knowing them makes you recognizable, makes you more comfortable with that person in the group.
I know even for us it was told like just be comfortable with, even if you're not looking for a job, or even if you're not looking for anything, or even if you don't know what you're going to do or what you're interested in, just go to those events because you want to feel comfortable in those settings where you don't chat like your friends. It's not a way, it doesn't feel like you're just chatting with a friend right the first time you go in that space.
It's more like small talks.
It's more small talks, much more professional. You don't know what questions to ask. You clearly know I'm coming over here to ask you about the job, but I don't want to sound like I want to ask you about the job.
Which is such a talent to have, and I feel it's very important for the field.
Yes. I don't know how, but it's still a skill. I'm still trying to learn more about it, but you can't just behave and like just not act like, oh, I don't care about the job. I'm really interested in you.
But I guess you have to. Yeah, you have to be like that to like get into the conversation, and I think that's like the most skill part of it, where you have to.
Over the like 12 weeks that you've studied over here, in the 12 weeks you've studied, How was the structure for you? I'm guessing you were given the projects from first on and you were supposed to work on them, and then you had the presentations at the end and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so it was kind of similar to what we had, but then in a very different way. So, how you start is like you have a brief, they teach you what you're going to use, not exactly what you're going to directly
Apply.
apply. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like something they will teach you the tools, you need to use them to get a result of your own. So it's completely a creative field for you. We have these, the professors are there to guide you through any kind of problems that you have. But something that we have been facing a lot, and as an Indian, like I have been facing more, is I rely on the professors sometimes to choose for me. I'm like, I have problem A, I have problem B. I I can do both, but like which one do you want me to do? And they won't really appreciate in that sense. Like they won't
Yes,
appreciate you
yes.
having options. They want you to be very focused on what you want, try to make it work. And if it does not, they don't really beat you up at like if it fails. They kind of like failures because you learn from failures. So that's a really interesting thing. So we have this 2-3 weeks of processing these kind of tools and making our own designs, working with materials, working with different projects. So mine is mostly based on computation design. So we work on like softwares like Grasshopper to make our own design models, combine the physical, the digital, everything together, and then we have a final presentation. And it's like every week we kind of have one of these presentations leading on to the final presentation. So it's like more like a feedback based loop. So the professors give you feedback, they sit down and they kind of give you pointers to work on or some other kind of a direction that you may have overlooked. And then finally, after the final presentation, we have about one more week to prepare a dossier, which is like a scientific report. And then we submit that on which we are marked on.
I see. So there's a lot of back and forth going in
There
between
is a lot
during
of
the
back and
entire
forth.
12 weeks. So even if you were given just one major project, it's like going to stretch along all the 12 weeks and then you were going back and forth again and again with the feedbacks and everything.
Yeah, so like actually this is one of those seminars. So we had 3 of these kind of seminars within the 12 weeks. So it was kind of broken down into 4 weeks. So we had 4 weeks of the first seminar, 4 weeks of the next, and 4 weeks of that. So we completed like 3 projects within this 12. It's a very fast-paced one for us. Like I think my course is one of the most intense in the entire college, and you do lose a lot of nights of sleep, and you kind of
We
are running
understand that.
around with the coffee. The dependency of coffee kind of increases. And there's Pet
yeah.
Maja to help you with that, so I guess it works out.
I guess you have
Yeah.
your friends and others who can, I guess, support you with that by
Yeah.
making a cup of coffee for you.
Yes, absolutely.
But now that we're talking about drinks and food and everything, how about we move on to talking about food?
Yes.
How does your day go actually? Let's just pick one day from your week 12 weeks. Just pick one random day.
Okay.
And what was your day like? Any day you want to talk about.
Okay, so I'll talk about a normal day
It starts from 9 a.m.
Yeah, after like a long night of working, we kind of sleep very late, around like sometimes 3 or 4 a.m. And then even if I try to wake up early, it's impossible. So I wake up at around 9. I have to be in college at 10. So like where I'm staying, I kind of get breakfast. If I don't have the opportunity to go and grab it, I might sometimes eat outside. But we have this thing which is the meal deals over here.
Yes.
It helps you throughout the day. You get a drink, you get a snack, you get the main course,
Yeah.
and you have everything ready to go from Tesco or Sainsbury, and it's a good meal, but like sometimes you kind of forget that being from India, a plate of home cooked food is a heaven.
It's different. Yeah,
Right.
it's different. To be fair, the meal deal is not. Let's just preface
It's
for
convenient.
it's convenient food. That's what it is. It's convenient food. Like, just to preface, meal deal doesn't. Let's not make it look very fancy. There's a main, there's a snack, and there's a drink. It's very, very simple. There's a sandwich, one singular sandwich. There is one tiny drink of whatever you choose to be, make it coffee or be it your drink,
Drinks.
juice or anything, and one snack, which is a packet of your chips, which you want to get,
Or
chocolates.
or
I have
fruits.
Reese's from afternoon. I still do have them. So it's really something very, very simple, I feel.
Yeah. But it's convenient, as in when you want to grab a quick breakfast or quick lunch, and you're in the class working.
Yeah, it's
good and
very
easy.
quick. Yeah,
Yes.
you can get something to eat at least.
Yeah.
I agree.
So yeah, morning goes out like that, and then we have our classes that start, and our classes actually end late till around 6:30 p.m. And sometimes I have it extends around like till 8 p.m. sometimes. So I'm stuck. But normally, let's say, because we are choosing one day, that I'm returning average day or the most ideal day, that I finish my work by 6:30. I reach back. It's about a 30 minutes commute with through underground, and I reach home around 7:30 maybe, and I directly I just go into my room, unpack. I try to change into some comfortable clothes and directly head towards the cafeteria to grab my lunch. Yeah, this is one thing that is especially funny to me because I have been always trying to get quick dinner. Like I always felt like I need to finish my dinner around 8 when I was back at home in India. But right now, I feel like I have become really a 7:30 person, which I was wanted really because before back at home we used to eat around 9, 10 late. But nowadays I get hungry at 7:30, and if I don't have my dinner by then, I'm cranky.
But I mean, it's the same. Like, if you look outside, it does feel like 9:30
Yes, because
at 7:30. It does feel like that. So I think your body still is like, I think it's 9:30. We're late.
yeah, it makes sense because the sun sets around 4. It's dark, and even during the afternoons, I feel with all these tall buildings around, you don't really feel the sun anywhere. It's like you look outside, it's night, even though it's supposed to be the afternoon.
You fell asleep at night, you woke up at night. Excuse me, what is happening in this city?
It's impossible.
Yeah, I get it.
I hope someone would have told me before coming here that this was the situation. I would have gotten 500 packets of vitamin D because medicine is 4 times expensive here.
Oh, yes. Vitamin D is actually a necessity over here. Yes. You need to have the D3 supplements over here for.
Yeah, and for me, I am deficient in vitamin D, the very thing that you need over here. So I kind of had my tablets along, and then once I heard about this entire shortest day thing in December, so I was like, okay, let me save them for the time I actually need them. And
it doesn't matter. The day doesn't need to be short. Maybe if the sun doesn't come out, the day hasn't started. So I don't think we're having a problem with short days. It's just the sun was never there in the first place, so there was no day.
Yes, and the clouds and the gloomy weather.
Exactly. And very randomly you'll have some rain.
Very randomly.
Very randomly.
You see, it's always the same. It's never sunny outside.
This year it's different though. I'm telling you, this year has been very different. Over the past 3 years I've lived over here, this year has been the longest I've seen the sun work.
Oh,
the
really?
Longest, yes. Usually around October end, we'd have the gloomy day starting. But this year, it actually started in end of November, so a month later. And we still see sun sometimes out. Just yesterday, it was sunny a bit. But this is not common. So I'm happy about that. But we understand that also means it could be because of global warming, which we're not supporting, but we do like the sun.
Oh, I'm an architect, and then the global warming is a huge situation for
Everyone.
yeah, but yeah, it makes me kind of wonder what the situation is gonna be during summers as well. Because if it's this hot during winters, and like for us, of course, summers in India is like very hot.
Yes,
Of
it is.
course, I'm from Kolkata, so 40 degrees over there with high humidity. But even though you comparatively think like London is going to be less, but once you actually start living through the winter, you get used to this temperature. And over here, the buildings are supposed to retain the heat.
Exactly, yeah.
So when it's hot outside, you kind of have even hotter temperature inside.
True. So it
You
gets
don't have
worse. It gets worse because of no fans or air conditioning or anything.
no air conditioning, no AC, and sometimes really bad ventilation in the room because we have one tiny window that does not even open completely. And the door does not stay open. So, really, cross ventilation is not there.
Yeah.
Unless you make a system of people like, okay, open your window, my door, your door.
Communal living together. We all have a system working around over here. Nah,
Yeah.
it's true. I think it's also because like when you get used to this winter of
Yeah.
in like going in between 0 and 5 degrees most of the time with the heavy wind and rain, and when it switches to summer when the sun just is there on top of your head like since 4 a.m. in the morning to 9 p.m. 10 p.m. at night, the land actually heats up so much
Yeah.
that then yes, it feels horrible to complain to people back in India that it's heating up and you're crying because of the summer over here and it's really hot, but it does get hot because there is no
is.
such way. Actually, the wind stops in summer.
Really? Okay.
That's the problem. I see that's the problem. Like when it's in winter now, right now, if you go out, it's so freaking windy. And that's the reason why it feels cold. Even if it's not like an actual minus, it feels worse because it's windy. But when it's summer, it's not this windy. I don't know what the wind and sun have made it, what sort of contract they've been going on there, but that's not what we like.
You know, one thing I've noticed here during like these windy days during the winter, because I normally, when I heard people say that there's really strong winds, but I never thought they're gonna disbalance me.
Oh, yeah.
Me as a person, I'm very strong and steady, but the winds kind of took me by surprise over here.
Oh, yeah.
And it is true that it makes it worse. The cold is worse because of these winds around. And in the summer, if it's the opposite, which I still have to live, let's see what my experience on that is.
Hopefully it should.
Yes. But once the wind stops, it's going to be hard because, again, of the ventilation problem, and the wind is just like everything over here because you don't have, again, no AC, no
fans,
nothing. It just is a new environment.
Exactly. A very new environment. Hopefully everyone will survive.
Yeah.
As well.
I was kind of hearing like the temperature also rises to like 30 degrees, so it's like not really a lot different.
True. The problem is the sun will be there throughout the day.
Yeah.
That's the bigger issue.
Long
So it's like 30 degrees to 9 to 5. Okay. But 9 to the next morning 9, we did not go for that.
Yeah. More than 12 hours of sun.
Yeah, the sun stays really long. But it's still nice weather. I have noticed like every time it's summer, number one, people wear really colorful clothes. The colorful clothes come out, very beautiful clothes come out. Second, they're also very much happier. They're so much more happier, jollier. Yes, sorry, what happened? Like, why are people just so much more smilier? And in winters, there's nobody smiling. Everybody's just, why is this world happening? Why am I even doing this?
I think it goes back to a scientific experiment about how much the vitamin D affects your mood.
True. Also, seasonal depression plays a big role.
Seasonal depression. Yes, I was hearing that from my seniors as well. Like people really get depressed, and you need to have the proper medicines or vitamins. You need to stay like completely nutrition across your body to be functioning, like emotionally and physically.
True.
So
God,
yeah,
these are such basic changes, but they make such
big
big
difference.
differences sometimes, and you don't even realize that.
You don't actually, like, because I never thought that this small thing would have such a big impact over how I work, how I feel, how my
Oh,
day to day life is gonna change. And you really see that difference over here a lot.
And someone's having a very, very crazy day.
Yeah. Or rearranging the room, I guess.
Yeah, that's why. The dying. I hate my life.
The walls here are so thin because, like,
Oh,
once you can, if you like have the tap going, you actually hear the other person's tap also running. You'll hear a weird noise and almost scary during the first few days until you realize that it's just the tap opening
Oh,
the other side.
it's very funny to think about that, because if this is supposed to retain heat, how are the walls so thin?
Oh,
You know, in that sense. But again, I may not know about the actual architecture behind the building, but you will know. So we can definitely have a chat about that later.
sure. Like how, because like different places have different architecture, uh, depending on how much they want to retain or leave the temperature. I don't know. I'm kind of stammering here, but like yeah, mostly the material and stuff also plays a big role. But
True.
yeah, it's a huge conversation for some time later.
Actually, because you're also studying architecture, have you? I know I've noticed this since the first day I came in London. Every house over here looks like, if you go to the residential area specifically more, not central London, exclude that. If you go to the more residential areas, you'll see each house is just a copy paste of another one. If you look on the exteriors, just on the outside, if you look, one house looks exactly like the other one beside it, and the other and the other. It's like Control C, Control V. They've just done it. That's the ready thing.
Yeah.
But as soon as you enter the house inside, it's a whole different story. They're all beautifully different, and like the interiors are so much more different. And I've heard that there is supposed to be a rule in London that you can't change the exteriors of the houses, but you can only change the interiors, right?
Yeah, so like this goes back to the urban planning center. Like I'm not really sure exactly because I'm mostly dealing with like computational design and parametric stuff. But then, yeah, so you have the urban designs, which are gonna be the developers who kind of construct these rows of houses. What happens are like these are kind of these plots that are set out, and you have one person who is developing the entire area with a similar kind of design. But when it comes to the interior, it goes mostly to the person who's buying the interior. So, and because these structures are very light and like you can't really have a retrofit thing because of also they're like very close together, right? So if you have retrofits going on in one house, it's gonna impact the other. So you kind of cannot change a lot on the exterior for that matter. But one thing I've also noticed is the colors and the schemes. So I think that is more like the urban setup of it here. Like these houses are going to be all white, all gray, but there are certain houses that have changed colors. So I think they're not very restrictive about the color or something.
I guess that's just more about Notting Hill. Notting Hill is the one that allows more pastel colored houses and stuff.
Yes.
But otherwise, it's pretty much just white.
Yeah.
Black and white. We stick to grayscale very strictly.
Yeah. So it's like the outside part of the house is more of the urban setup that's done and dusted and constructed. Now, whoever the tenants are or the like people residents are, the inside, the interiors are mostly in their hands. So whoever comes in can change as much as they want.
But they can't change the exterior.
The exterior. Also, there is like these shared homes, right? So you have these buildings which have different floors, have different tenants. So I think what we have as the apartment system at home, here it's a different thing. Like these houses that look very beautiful from outside, and they have different tenants on different floors, acting like an apartment almost. So it's like each floor have their own people and their own designs, the
Mm.
interior designs, whereas the outside structure keeps
Yeah.
staying the same.
It's very interesting how they've like stuck to like the exteriors just cannot change. How they've stuck to that
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, I think mostly it's because like of that building, like when they are doing it, they have one design, they kind of do it together and they leave that part alone. And then it comes back to like you cannot touch it because if you break this, the other building kind of falls apart.
Ah, so it was copy pasted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, because in architecture there is this thing like plot development is kind of a thing. Even in India, currently it's becoming a very famous kind of a
Mm.
design. So you have these plots which are given, and you have villas that come kind of have the same exact design, which are copy, pasted along
Mm.
the same setup. So it is kind of a emerging scheme in India, while I feel here it has been there.
Why does it feel like it kind of aligns with how everything we see in the Western world is something that we need to grab and do it in India?
Oh yeah, it is.
It seems like that.
It seems, yes, because like when I was working in India, I had gone through this project, and before when I was studying, I've never come across this term like
Mm.
plot development and these copy pasted buildings, and I haven't seen around as well as much in India, but that's why I'm
Mm.
assuming that it's like a currently new thing that is coming up, or
Mm.
what perspective I'm talking about is like 2021. So let's go back to that stage. I'm talking about that
Ah.
being new then. So it was like really interesting to see this kind of an architecture come around because I've mostly seen in the European countries, and I know there's a lot of shift in like materials. I'm sure like it's different in India, but then the similar kind of a pattern design, and it has the same context. So like because we are as the architects giving it from the exterior, it's fixed. You cannot change it. It goes back to
Hmm.
that same concept like the exterior is fixed, the same colors have to be pertained. Like you
Hmm.
have to keep it same
Hmm.
for the entire place to look cohesive.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
true. Actually, when you think about when people how people think everything that the Western world has needs to come to India or needs to be cultivated in all the other cities and countries, what is there anything from London that you would want to take away from and say, let's bring this to India, or this is something I really wish we
Yeah.
grab it.
I am sure there's like a lot of things that I feel are some things we can take, some things we can really leave behind, but something that has struck me a lot of times because I've been traveling to and fro, like from my place of stay to my college, and I have noticed this very small thing that every pedestrian has an opportunity for people who are physically like unable to walk on their own on the wheelchairs, so they have provisions to allow
Oh
them to
yes,
properly operate throughout. And
yes,
that
yes.
is such a small thing, but it is so effective because I see people here being so independent, even if they have
Mm.
some problems.
Yeah,
It
physical disability doesn't stop them from living their lives anymore. Yeah.
exactly, because just few days back I saw this person on a wheelchair. I think she was crossing the road and she was on her own, and she looked so confident. She looked so happy that in each divider there was a place which was properly constructed for her
Mm.
to move smoothly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like previously I saw these dividers and I questioned like why were they there? Like why did they have this division which was on the level of the road? And it did not have any kind of a pedestal going up or down. But then when I saw her, I realized it was for people like them, which
Mm.
makes it so much easier for you to be confident when you go outside.
True. That makes sense.
Yeah,
But that's actually a very beautiful thing. There is acceptance for a lot of different people over here.
yes,
I have noticed that.
that is a very big thing, which is really not there in a lot of parts of India. I mean, for us
Mm.
as uh, like we have trouble walking on the footpaths because
True.
Either has some kind of a vendor or like it's completely destroyed from construction.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so many problems for like just a pedestrian that I don't know, just
If we can think
the
about some,
provisions for
yeah.
yeah, the provisions for these things become so difficult.
Mm, true. It is difficult. Is there anything you would want to bring from India over here?
um there is actually something like that's as simple as flavor, I guess.
So you mean not just salt and pepper? I see.
Not just salt and pepper. I think you have to go back to India to get all the spices.
Yeah, I thought like if you've lived in India for 200 years, you were there. Please take this stuff. Yes, you've taken it, but do learn how to use it. Please. We can come over here, give you free lessons if you want, but use it.
I've forgotten what taste is like.
That's what I feel with meal deals, you know. Meal deals can give you the food to just so you don't feel hungry anymore.
And also, it's cold. Like,
yeah, it's cold
what do you-
food. It's like a cold sandwich or pasta box that is still
Yeah.
cold still. So it's like, yes, you get something to not feel hungry anymore, but it doesn't give you like the nutrition you need for your body.
Absolutely not.
This,
Like,
I think this specifically comes because I'm vegetarian. Like vegan options and vegetarian, like there
very
is a
limited.
vegan option in every restaurant. There would be vegetarian option in each restaurant, but I would question how much it actually is nutritious or actually healthy enough.
Yeah.
Like giving a cheese and onion sandwich doesn't give you nutrition much. It's basic, but it's a vegetarian option they've brought up, right? So sometimes I feel like you did bring out the options, but did you really, really bring it out, think about it to not just do it because you have to, but did you do it because you want to and you care about it?
Correct. Yes. Because I see like for vegetarian, because I am a non-vegetarian and I feel like my restrictions are also there because I don't eat pork. I don't eat much pork or beef because it's not seasoned. It's not it turns out very smelly over here for some reason. It's really, really inedible for me. So when I compare it to someone to a vegetarian like you, like I can feel because I think there is just potatoes everywhere. Like if you say it's vegetable and Europeans like over here they're like, oh, we are very proud. We have an amazing vegetarian cuisine. What is it? Potatoes only. And
Sure. Thank
like how much of this value is like nutritious, and then like also in terms of other vegetables, how is it tasty, appetizing? You cannot keep eating the same boiled vegetables just for nutrition. At some point your body is gonna start fighting against you. Like, give me something tasty. Yeah,
I do find some places I go to, they don't really have like good options for vegan or vegetarian ones. So, yes, they have an option for sure, but it's not really tasty or flavorful, like you say.
Yes.
They would have added all the ingredients and given you raw, which can feel like there's a bunch of spinach and onions and lettuce and everything, and then they just give it to you. I could have just bought that from Sainsbury's or Tesco. Don't give it to me like that directly, you know? But there are a lot of other places where I found like really, really tasty food where they do give like good vegetarian options and vegan options. And there's like even now vegan restaurants and everything now. So I feel like that it's happening. It's happening. People are getting more conscious about it. Even for like people who are lactose intolerant, like I know you are. And there's always options over here.
Yeah, so I think like they have the options, like even going back to everything, they kind of try to include every single kind of problem. And it's not just what I like about London is that they don't consider something that is biological or something that happens to you as a small problem. It's a problem nevertheless, and they kind of make it a point to kind of include you as an option. Things are available to you. But going back on the point, like there are some things that are just for namesake, and like there are some things that are actually being done. Maybe there is a very distinct relationship of like what is supposed to be done versus like what are the initial steps that need to be taken. And I think they are there. They're there at the initial steps. And
Initial steps.
yeah, there's a lot more to grow on. And I feel like
I appreciate there being an option first.
yes,
I appreciate that there is always a choice for you. But yes, it can be improved. We know that for sure.
right.
But at least there is an option. Over the past 3 years I've lived, I never had to feel like I need to become a non-vegetarian just because I don't find food, you know. It might not be the tastiest everywhere, but it's still good enough. It's
Yeah.
still pretty good, and you still, I guess
Have
you
the
just find it filling because you're a student, you're just hungry, and you're like, can I just get food?
Yeah, of
Can I
course.
get food anywhere? Anything?
At the end of the day, it comes down to that.
You're
You eat to
tired.
survive.
Exactly. You're tired, you're done with university assignment, and now you just need something edible to eat.
Exactly.
Yes, of course. Moving next. What else did we have in our plan?
Well,
We've talked about meal deals, we've talked about food, we've talked about like
work and
Mhm.
studies and stuff. Well, Christmas is something which is interesting in London, I guess. Right now, being the season here, very busy around
So what do
everywhere.
you have for what are your plans for Christmas?
My plans for Christmas is like our vacations just started, and we are going to have about 3 weeks of time to finish our document and as well as like go around London. So something that is we have to do it very recently and very quick is something that is closing tomorrow, which is the
Ever After Garden.
Ever After Garden, which is
It
a
is
very
very pretty.
beautiful place. It's all about, I think, like around London, you get to see numerous lights, so much decorations. You go to Oxford Street and you see like these giant decorations on the top, like of the road. The entire road is so well decorated, and people are shopping. But I would say just kind of stay out of central London because it's so much crowded. Like
At least on the
anywhere
weekends, I guess.
yeah, especially on the weekends because that's when people are all out shopping. And like I remember going to Oxford Street on Black Friday, and it almost felt like I was just someone was carrying me with the crowd because I did not have any other direction to go. I was just running around with the crowd. And yeah, sometimes entering shops were becoming too hard because there were so many people inside.
Oh yeah. Black Friday is one of like the biggest discounts shopping day, so
Yes.
it does become very crowded on that day. They
It
have deals
is.
specifically for that day. Though the businesses and like the brands are now diversifying. So
Yeah.
Black Friday usually starts like 1st of November already. Some of them start really early, some of them go like until the end of November, like to the first week of December as well. So like I guess they're like trying to diversify the days so it doesn't get so crowded for every
Also, I
day.
think with the online shopping, it kind of helps a bit. But then, nevertheless, you have a lot of people.
You will, because there's a lot of people who are coming as tourists as well in London. There's a lot of tourists in December. Yes, there's a lot of people coming in over here.
Yeah.
So it's like the people who are in London, they leave London because they get holidays from their work, usually in December. That's like the main holiday season. And the people who are not from London, they all come to London to celebrate Christmas, to see all those lights and everything.
Reminds me of Durga Puja back home.
Do you have similar situations?
Yeah. Because people from outside come and people in Kolkata, they kind of start leaving. They're like, okay, had enough. 2 days of visiting places and now we're just going. But yeah, I think it's like that. And they also stop like cars from going around in the Oxford Street. So you trust people. Which is sometimes a bit scary, but then yeah, it's okay. When you have to do the shopping, you have to like just go and I guess. And yeah, there are like so many places to visit, the museums, there are a lot of amusement parks. I think the Winter Wonderland is open,
Yes, yes.
so it's like, oh,
Though it's expensive, I feel.
well, yeah, of course. I think
I guess if you are planning, there's nothing wrong in going there, but do mentally be prepared to spend at least over £20.
I would say like
Unless you're
have
very, very, like,
tight, yeah.
you're tight on the budget and you're gonna be very firm with your mind.
Exactly what I was going to say, because what I was also wondering is my friends were coming and saying they have spent like £50 per person to be there, but it's all about like self control. It's easier to say when you haven't gone over there exactly, which I think I am going to, of course, fail maybe, but let's see.
That's a different story.
That's a different story, but yeah, once you're there, I think it's just how much you spend and how much you actually plan to do in there. So it's not like that the entry is too expensive. So once you enter, it's up to you
Yep.
to see. So you have the entry fee, which is like around £7, and after that you have, if I want to do one or two rides, it's around £14, which is okay if you want to
Yeah.
stop there. But well, it's we are all humans, aren't we? Like we are going to
Yeah.
get dragged into these
Exactly.
other things that are
Yeah.
happening around.
Like the entry is, like you said, is not that expensive. I know now it's rising up because it's going closer to Christmas.
Yes.
But before that, it was literally, if you go in off peak times, you can enter for free. Just
Mhm.
paying the booking fee, like the convenience fee, £1,
Yeah.
and then you can enter. But it's what comes after when you go inside that
Yes.
really, really charges a lot.
Exactly. I think after that you have these. Of course, you'll see the attractions around, and you'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe
Let's play that
maybe
game one more time, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll win it one more time.
And they have like a lot of plushies,
Yeah.
soft toys, which are so attractive.
Yeah. I've seen some of them being so big, and
I
every
know.
time I know when I'm on the tube and someone has a massive soft toy, I know they've been to the Winter Wonderland, and the kid is very happy
because
to
it's
the
bigger than
yes,
probably. Yes.
to the point where both the parents are just carrying the big plushies and soft toys, and the kid is just looking up at them very happily, like I've achieved what I needed today.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But as students, I think going there with your friends, having
It's so fun,
a
yes.
fun time, it's the best, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's all that matters.
Yes, of course, of course. Is there anything?
Yeah, and I'm just bummed because I was hoping like when I come to Europe, maybe I'll get some snowfall. But London, being on the bad side of the global warming chain,
Yeah, it doesn't.
does not
Yeah.
snow here. So we have to go to the high park to get like the fake snows, around.
They do the fake snows actually in Covent Garden as well,
Yes.
near the Christmas tree. Every 1 hour they do the snowfall for everyone near the Christmas tree, and that's it.
It
But
kind
yeah,
of makes me sad as well. But then at the end of the day, it is what it is, and then you have to go and get the snow experience.
if you want to
Even if it's
experience
fake.
snow, yeah. I feel London has a lot of these activities which maybe are not like sometimes from London, based in London, but they are recreations of stuff that are around the world that they've brought it over here.
Yeah.
So like even there's a place called the Venice.
Yes.
Near
the Little Venice.
Yeah, the Little Venice.
I think
which
Warwick, right?
No, very close over here in London.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. And the Little Venice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can walk there.
Yeah.
After this. So it's very close by, and the Little Venice is exactly not. It's not Venice, but they've tried to recreate that experience on a very tiny scale over here. Which I see a lot of events and a lot of things happening in London are like you try to recreate something on a very minute scale for everyone to experience, which is what snowfall is over here. Can't get it in London.
Yeah.
Scotland, yes. If you
So if you want, you can just hop on a train from Paddington and head.
Yep, it's much convenient like that.
And like as soon as you were saying like Little Venice, because I've kind of not been there, but every time I go to my relative's place over here, I keep on hearing whenever we are at the station And like this is where you can go to. Little is from, which is really nice
Oh,
to me. On the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
undergrounds when you're traveling and they kind of point out where you have to
Mm.
go.
Yeah,
But
I think we like that too, actually, from the underground tube
like
stations.
small things.
Yes, I really like it. It's like it's catered for all the tourists, you know.
Exactly.
Every time it's a major, any stop, they usually make sure to point out from here you can go to the Madame Tussauds Museum,
Exactly.
or from here you can go to the Somerset House. He'll always say something like that, which is very helpful.
And that is when it also hits you like you are in such a grand location, which is
Oh,
people
yeah.
pay to travel here, and you have
Studying
the
here.
privilege to study and stay here,
True, true.
which has its ups and downs. But okay, I'm gonna see the positive side for it, I guess.
Yes. So let's talk about something that we haven't talked about yet. So we've talked about your academics, your architecture work. Then we've talked about London, all the different fun things you can do, like Hyde Park. You can go, but be careful. Don't
Be
spend too
careful.
much, or you might end up spending £500 in
One day,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
few hours.
And we've also talked about the food in London, the famous meal deal options you get. Let's move on to friendships.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about how London is so inclusive, you know, and there are people from different backgrounds. What
Yes.
kind of environment do you see in your college? Or how are you meeting with these different people?
Yeah. So
And have you made friends with people who are like from not the same country as you are from? Or maybe people who are very, very different?
oh yes, so yeah, I think my college is like the best setup for that because they really pride with diversity. So the first introduction day when we went, they gave us a clue of like what we are going to face. They said there are people from 81 nationalities in our
Ooh.
college, where I think there's just 800 people. It's really crazy. And whenever we have these parties that they organize, we kind of start meeting with different people over there. So I have met people from Egypt, people from the Iran, Saudi areas, from India, of course, from Pakistan, from like even places like South Korea, and then we go to the European countries. There are people like from places where I never thought there was a place like that before. So there's a girl from Montenegro in my class.
Oh.
Yeah, and I did not know where Montenegro is, and I literally had to go back and search, which I never thought I would be. Then there are many people from Greece, from Taiwan, from China, Hong Kong, because for some
Yeah.
reason they have to be mentioned separately.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. They're
Yes,
independent. That's why.
yes, and then you have people from the American places as well. I met someone from New York and someone from Costa Rica, and there are like a lot of different people around. Like, so you have such a diverse group of people coming around from the entire world, and you have really so many people with so many different talents. Like there's someone who specializes in materials, or someone really knows how to speak, which is such a big skill. Like speaking and research more than I feel the design part of it. If you know how to communicate, how to properly put in and sentence your words, it makes you so much more powerful in front of any
True.
kind of work that you have to do. And I think it because of this diverse culture, you also get to learn so many different things, and like you get to experience from every single perspective. You get to hear their anecdotes of how things are going on from their sides, and like, and it's not only that, also like it's about the culture, their food, what they do, what is the best thing in their family. So you get a taste of everything, which is really a good thing, that like a school that prioritizes on diversity, which is such a nice thing to be in. And
I agree.
yes, and you kind of get to live all of this and also experience them together, because you kind of stuck in there for like over 12 hours together, so you kind of get to know each other. So like I have felt I have made friends with, of course, my classmates and everyone. We have gone out together, each one of us trying to influence each other a bit. Like I know the Greek guys in our class, they were like, okay, let's go to some Greek restaurant. We'll make you try our food. And they ordered a bunch of things, and we kind of tried it. It was so new,
Oh,
so
yeah, yeah.
tasty. We kind of keep on playing Bollywood songs sometimes. Me and like me personally, I have heard songs and everything from so many different languages that I keep on going to these people and I'm like, you know what? I know this Spanish song. Listen to it. And then they're like, this is not Spanish. This is something. I'm like, okay, that's
Okay.
different now. So there are so
Yeah.
many different things like this. And
Hmm.
then they host different parties. Like we had the Latino party. We're thinking of having a Bollywood party as well. So it's
Oh.
like a mix of cultures. You get to know what they listen to. And I think it's just the food, the music, the way of talking, what you're good at makes you more interested in these other cultures and as well. And you hear stories about how their country works, like with education, politics. You have these discussions every day. They tell their stories, you tell yours, and it's a nice
Mm.
interaction that you have like throughout the day.
Do you have any sort of advice when it comes to meeting people, and what would you say is important when it comes to becoming friends with them? Do you need to be, of course, open to accept new perspectives and listen to them? But what has helped you the most when it comes to like becoming friends with people who are from different countries, you know?
I think, like, firstly, do not have stereotypical ideas about what a person, because it completely goes down to how a person is. So you kind of start thinking, and this is where I've seen that fragmentation start happening. Like you kind of think that this person is from here, so he's gonna be like this, but it's completely opposite. So like because it's completely new how these people talk and how they kind of what they want to focus. What I feel is important to talking to someone is to understand what they are interested in. And so going back to the topic on small talks, so on, it's a skill actually. Like you try to grasp onto the things that they like, and you also kind of you find a common grounds to discuss
Oh, yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
And it's sometimes also like it just happens, like you kind of
Hmm.
click off with these conversations, you have a good time together over like in a bar or something, you kind of start talking and then you have these bonds together that you're like, okay, I'm now friends with this person, I guess. And it's like our work is like in groups as well, so when we are working in a group we can focus on each other a lot, so we keep on talking about like what we do, what we are good at, what we can, like how our culture is. We kind of have these
Hmm.
conversations going, and then you slowly see these relationships growing. And
Hmm.
it's just
That makes
about,
sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And I think if you feel like going to the topic of approaching someone from a different culture, I think just erase every kind of perspective you have first. Go with a blind slate and talk as friendly as possible and be as transparent as possible. If
Hmm.
you feel like there's some miscommunication happening, don't over explain, but I think try to be more true to yourself. Like, this is my way of speaking, and I feel people really like that, because not losing yourself outside is one of the biggest problems that you have, because you have so many people and so many
Oh,
cultures
yeah.
around. So you kind of need to be true to yourself and not to just try to imitate something that looks nice,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
you have to be very conscious about how you would react to some kind of situation. So I think when you place yourself like that with other people, like and you are very comfortable with the flow,
Hmm.
I think slowly it's a piece of cake, I guess. But it's
I think you
harder.
get used to seeing the faces every day. I
Yes.
think you slowly get used to seeing people from very different countries every single day, that it doesn't feel that out of place. It doesn't feel out of place, number one. to talk to them.
Yeah.
And second, it also feels like, yes, you can have those stereotypes in your mind, which I do agree. You have to be like completely blank slate. Because you can't, even when it comes to people in India, if you talk to someone who is an Indian, there's no one specific kind of Indian person.
Exactly.
There are so many people in the world. They are all so uniquely different. So you can't go with the stereotypes, of course. So that helps a lot.
Yes.
Definitely.
One more thing is like I love how you said that you get familiarized with people. Like every day when you keep on going there and you see these people around, you forget slowly that are an Indian and they are from another place, and you just think we are students in this workspace together.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you get so much more. And it just like in the beginning, it sounds very unfamiliar. Like it will feel like you're completely thrown onto a football field without any skills. Like you are just new at it. You feel like completely dissociated with whatever you are comfortable with till today. But I think just keep the faith, slowly move on one step at a time. And I feel like you're gonna get it soon,
Yeah.
that it becomes all familiar. And then you would start to have very like localized groups and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you don't like someone because of something that they do, not because of they are from this country or they're from that. Yeah. So it's like not the background that is playing, but your perseverance of for a person. Or like if you like someone, it's because they have so much in common with you, their taste in music, their taste in food, your habits together. This is something that I have seen growing for like this in my time over
You don't
here.
like them because they're American. You like them because of how they are and how you link
Exactly.
with them, how you click with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So before coming here, I would have been like, oh my God, I would not get along with this type of a people because of the language barrier, maybe. But when you come there, you see that they are the best in like how you speak, and you guys connect together best. And you might form a better friendship than maybe anyone else in the entire
I've
place.
had some really, really good friends who are like just not from India, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but I do relate with you so much more than, yes, some other people I would have.
Yes, yes. So it's one thing that you think you would happen here, that you maybe would be very much more comfortable with the other Indians here because like we all speak the same language, and then we all culturally belong to a same like background. But then when you come here, you might find like similarities with some other person more
Yes.
than an Indian, and then you become friends with them, and it just happens. It's just a process, I guess. And it's really fascinating because you end up knowing so much more beyond what you used to know. And it is mesmerizing sometimes.
I
Yeah.
agree. It is very beautiful to finally become friends with people who are from different places.
Yeah.
And you not just learn from them, you start also becoming like them.
Yeah.
And they also adapt your behaviors. And then when you go out, you no longer say, oh, he's from this place or she's from this place. She's my friend, and we're both Londoners eventually. You start
Yes.
saying it like that.
Yes. You both recognize yourself from a same background slowly.
Yeah. London becomes
You
that background for you then.
Yes. And I think it's a beautiful thing to happen. Yeah.
I agree. That was a very good, helpful advice. Not going in with the stereotypical
Yes. Yeah.
thought or prejudices you have.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you so much, Samarpita, for all the lovely conversation, for this entire lovely conversation.
Thank you for having me
You're
here.
of course welcome.
And yeah, hopefully things I said was helpful and you can relate if you're here already. Of
Yes,
course.
anyone who listens to this, if it relates to you, let Samarpita know about it. Thank her. Otherwise, you can keep moving and scrolling forward. Yes,
Yeah.
that's it. We come to a wrap